Okay guys, we got a Ford F-550 here. I'm going to show you how to replace this rotor. You can look down in between the drums here and see just really how bad that it is. See the grooves down in there? So I've already pulled off the first tire. I'm going to smack this one with a hammer here. Here you can see where I've tapped on it. We're going to jar this loose, and I tapped on it with a bar. I'm going to need a sledgehammer. So let's tap that loose. Let's get this other tire off, and I don't think you needed me to show you that. I just jacked it up and braced the front and locked it up so it doesn't roll on me. First tire's off. I unbolted all the 1932 nuts. There's 10 of them. I'm on the second one now. Let's get this off and get to that rotor and caliper, etc. Okay, so next thing you want to do is these bolts right there that I'm on, those large 15/16. There's one there and one right here. We're going to pull those off. Sometimes they need a little persuasion. Hit them with a hammer, tap them down, and you can thread them out. Let's get those off, move this caliper back. Okay, so I got a little lucky. I pulled the bolts and it just dropped right back out of the way. If you have to, you can tap right in this area. So I just noticed my jack runs on air. I had it up, it just dropped down. This one's sinking in the ground a little bit. So if you need to see a video on how to rebuild that jack, I'll make one. Sorry about the wind. So now we're going to get that out of the way. Let's rock that down and just push it up out of your way over here. Let me shut off the phone so that I can get to that. Let's just move it back out of the way. Okay, so now we have all those 15s pulled. Now you want to get a small catch tray or something, put it up underneath there because you're going to lose a little bit of fluid when we pull this plate with the axle hook to it. So let's get a small tray and slide that out. Okay, so now if you're a master mechanic, you have the socket to fit this thing. But if you're watching my video, you probably don't. So if you look, you can kind of see nicks where somebody has put it on before and taken it off before. So all I'm going to do is grab a screwdriver, chisel, something, and I'm just going to tap around like that. It'll come off. They're not extremely tight. So let's go ahead and tap that nut out of there. And you can see how nice and lubed up it is. I've only tapped it not even a half a turn, and now she's just spinning right out. So let's go ahead and take that off, and let's set it down on somewhere clean so we don't get a lot of dust and dirt on it. Okay, so we pulled the nut off, the bearing behind it. We set both of those down. At this point, you can grab this whole assembly and just yank it right off. It's pretty heavy, so grab it with two hands, grab it firm. Try not to move your vehicle if your jacks are anything like mine. And let's get that thing off of there. You're going to be taking the rotor with this front hub assembly. All this is going to come off one shot together. So let's get that off. Okay, now that we pulled that off, here it is there, all of it together. Go ahead and just leave the ring up there if you would. Inspect your brakes at this point. You can see these are pretty thin, so they're probably going to need to be done. At this point now we can clean up this area here, and we can take off this rotor from this front hub assembly. And for this, I couldn't fit this truck in the garage, it was too big, but we can take this to the garage. So let's take this in there on the floor where it's a little cooler. Okay, so now we're here in the garage where we can work a little bit better, plus we got a swamp cooler blowing on us. Feels good. So, same thing, we're going to flip it upside down here. So now you're looking at the face, 15 millimeters, just like the front. So let's go ahead and pull all these 15s off, separate the hub from the rotor. Okay, so now we have all of our bolts off. Looks like there was 10 of them. And so now this may need a little more persuasion again. And maybe not. So there we go, we got it separated. Let's get our new rotor, let's assemble that rotor on that hub. Everything gets cleaned at this point. Clean her up. Any of the bearings, reeses that you see, get some grease on them. I'm going to blow all this dust out of here, grease it up a little bit, then we'll set the rotor on there. Okay, got her all cleaned up, got her lubed up. Now we're ready to set the new rotor on there. Now if you guys have this same truck, there's the new rotor. Our old one, of course, you can see the grooves there. They're pretty bad. They couldn't be turned, they were too deep. So here's the part number if you had this same truck. It's a F-550 Ford 2005 dually. So there's your part number, 680374. R as in Robert, G as in girl, S as in Sam. Okay, so now we just reassemble backwards. Let's set this on top of the drum and our hub assembly, and let's get those bolts on there. Okay guys, and as far as these bolts go, how tight should you tighten them? Tight. How tight is tight? Tighter than that. These need to be extremely tight. I have a 350-pound impact, so it's not a very big one, but it's going to do the trick. If you can get 350 pounds out of it, you're good. So I would say minimum of 250 pounds, but get them tight. And you know what? The other thing that I just did is I washed my hands. When you get done pulling everything apart, it's always good practice when you're cleaning your parts to clean your hands too before you reassemble. The least amount of oil and grease you can get on this, the better. When we get done, we are going to hit it with some brake clean, but it's always good to do that. Keep that oil off of that area where those shoes hit. So, all right, let's get all these put in and we'll head back out to the truck. Okay guys, so I've hit this with brake clean. Do not be afraid to use up a whole can on this if you have to. It's really good practice. Now if you look right here, you see those nicks that were there? Something had been hitting this. You can see where the bearing here got hot. So inspect your bearing as well inside to make sure it's okay. If it is okay, at least burr these down with a piece of emery cloth and get them as smooth as you can before reassembling. So that's what I'm going to do. And then we'll get this hub assembly and rotor back on there. So, and then you seen the cap that came off the back bearing? I've pressed that back on where it goes as well. Okay, so we have the new hub and new rotor on. Now, if you have a bearing packer, great. If you don't have a bearing packer, and you might still have enough grease in that thing, but I always put more. If you don't have a bearing packer, just put it in the palm of your hand and just shove it into the bearing. Get something into there. I did have one, I loaned it out, so we're gonna just do it by hand. And I'm just gonna push it right in the palm of my hand like that. I'm gonna place the grease right here in the palm, and I'm just gonna grab this bearing with my other hand and just shove it right into the bearing. Get it all up in this area really well. And in some cases, to really pack them, I've just packed it right around here and hit it with a little bit of air and it blows it right through. But in this case, we won't need to do that. There's still quite a bit inside there. So let's put a little bit of oil, grease in there, and then of course it's an oiled bearing too. So we're going to have the oil from the rear end in there, so that's going to keep it lubed up. So we don't need a whole lot, but we are going to put some. Okay, so we got the bearing lubed up. Let's go ahead and stick her on there, and then we'll grab our little washer nut assembly over there and tighten it back down. Okay, after you place the bearing in, notice this notch right here on the back of your nut. That slide plate will need to go in there before you tighten it down. So I just got it hand tight right now, so now I'll get my screwdriver and hammer and let's knock that thing down just as tight as we can get it. Okay, so I knocked her around there with the screwdriver. I also got me a nice sharp chisel, made a new mark and got it even a little tighter. Now, once she bottoms out, you'll hear it bottom out. You don't have to worry about backing off because those little teeth back there on that thing is not going to allow it to vibrate backwards. Give it a good spin, make sure it spins freely, but it comes to a stop kind of quick. It should get about one full rotation around and you're probably good. You can grab it and wiggle it too, but if you get that one full rotation and this is on straight and you get that locked down, you're going to be set properly. So these don't have to be impact because that's going to be over tight and you won't be able to spin this at all. And if it's too loose, you'll notice when you spin it, she'll spin 2.5, 3 turns around. So just one turn. Some guys only like about a half a turn, and I think that's about what we have there, is a little over a half. So I think we're good. So now we're going to put the axle back in there with the plate. When you slide the axle back in there, there'll be a point where it stops and you'll have to jimmy it. So you need a little bit of strength with your wrist. Lift it up to slide it into that last position, and then we can lock it down and put the bolts in. So remember, those are 15 millimeter. So it looks like there's 8 of them. So let's go ahead and get that axle cover on. Okay, so when you get it in there, you'll feel it click in. Don't put your hands behind it like that and try to pry, because you'll smash your fingers when it slides in. And it will go in. You won't need to pull that whole assembly there on the front yoke in order to make it happen. You're not going to need to. It will go. Just maneuver it, twist it, maneuver it, it'll go in. You almost have to grab it and kind of tilt up and shove in. And I know you need a lot of strength for that, but you can do it. You took it apart. So, all right, let's get these bolts in. Okay, so at this point, I don't think you need any more help. We're just pretty much gonna put the caliper back on with those two 15/16 bolts, and we're gonna put the tires on, depress the brakes slowly a couple of times, and then start the vehicle and push them down hard. In this case too, before I put my caliper on, I'm gonna do a video showing how to install the brakes on this. So that's why I'm gonna cut you off here. If you need to see that, there'll be a link down inside the description. You can take a look at that and click on it, and that'll send you there. So other than that, I hope this video helped you out, or at least gave you an idea. Please don't not take a chance and do this yourself. Try it. Just do it. Make sure everything's secure and safe, and just try it. You're going to save a lot of money. This particular job is hundreds of dollars to get done. You can do it. I know you can. Thanks again for watching, you guys. Thank you so much for all your comments and your support and your thumbs up. Please click like. Please click subscribe. And once again, enjoy.